Well, I decided today I've got to record in my classroom on my lunch break because here is where I have all of my good equipment. Yesterday my camera was acting funky. Figure if I come use the good equipment that I have here in my classroom, we'll be good. Anyway, today, day 20. By the way, welcome back. It's wonderful to see all of your smiling faces. Inktober the 20th. The prompt for today is coral. Now, I've already gone ahead and sort of sketched out a basic underwater coral landscapey thing. But, see, I've got a thought for today of how this is going to work. And I might be completely terribly wrong. But here's my thought. I'm going to start with a mix of some water and some ink. And I'm going to do ink washes in layers and progressively use a thicker, well, not thicker, but more ink to water ratio as I go. So right here, this is very wet, very watered down. I need a practice paper because I don't want to ruin my calendar with this. So I'm gonna, this is some water and some ink mixed. And my theory is that this watered down ink will be sort of grayish. I was expecting it to be a lot lighter than that. I might have to change my water ratio. Okay, so just real quick recap. That's number 1. That is number 2. That is number 3. Number 4. Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the last one is just pure ink. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think 4 and 5 are so close together, I'm just going to knock number 5 out. And then, okay, so for starters, I want the background to be super dark and the foreground is going to be lighter. So I'm going to kind of give a wash over the foreground area with my lightest gray here. This very foreground big lump coral thing, I'm going to leave white, and I will definitely do some like hatching and stuff to give it some texture and some value that way. But the reason here is things in the foreground are going to have the most contrast. So if I start light and then use just pure black for any amount of final inking, like drawing on top, it will the black ink of any ink work I do on top of these washes will contrast against a lighter gray more than it will against a darker gray. What you're really looking for, I guess what I'm getting at here is, what you're really looking for is the value, the tonal value. I'm just going to kind of wash over that with my lightest value. And it's amazing how that light value can look different in different places. All right, I'm going to use that same light value here in seaweedy things. Yeah, alrighty. And I think in this sort of brain coral area too. And now I think it's time to switch to an actual pen. All right, so at this point, all of these little cups with, you know, mixed up water and ink are kind of useless to me. I might put lids on them and number them so that I can use them later, but for now I just need them out of my way. I am not going to use those with my dip pen. I am going to use a dip pen since I've got my ink out. Dip that in there. I'm going to give that a test on this other paper real quick. Okay. Yeah, so I really want to eventually do some more practice with dip pens and you know, get some, you know, multiple different nibs and things. I know there's a lot that can be done, a lot of interesting techniques that can be done with wider nibs or narrower nibs or all sorts of things you can do. So it's like, you know, you as an artist need to figure out what is it that you're trying to make and what tool is going to do that job the most effectively. So like if you're a quilter, you wouldn't want a dip pen like this to try to draw on your quilts. You would want some kind of pen that has, or marker that has ink that'll wash out. So you can, you know, draw lines on your fabric and then quilt it and then wash those lines out, right? Or, you know, whatever, you know, think about your workflow and what you're trying to accomplish, and that will give you a good indicator, a good judge, a good idea of what kind of material, what kind of tool you need in order to do that job. In this sort of middle ground area, these are supposed to be rocky crags, and right now they're all just sort of bumpy, not jagged enough, because, and, you know, that's one of the differences between brush and pen work. Brush work is by nature going to be more flowy, more rounded, especially if I'm using a round brush, whereas line work or pen work is going to be by nature much more pokey pointy, more jagged. And then, do I need to go back in anywhere? I think I'm done with that. Do I need to go back in with the white gel pen? I think I definitely should pull out some highlights in some areas. I think right along this ridge right here, and maybe a little bit on some other ridges in that same area. All right, and then maybe a little bit coming in from the top, as long as it like disperses. And I might have overdone it, or maybe I need more of it at the top. Coming down into less underneath. I don't know. I'm wondering if I need more, something more involved with this. Leave it or darken it. get that brush back out, and let's go back to my very lightest. Let's get just a tiny, I don't think I got any, just a tiny bit of my lightest. Yeah, give it a little bit of shadow in a couple of areas. Maybe. I think we're going to call that done. That's it for day 20, Inktober day 20. The prompt was coral. And that's how it fits into the whole calendar. Only 1.5 weeks to go. Wow. Tomorrow, day 21, let's see if I can get my list here. The prompt for tomorrow is my favorite, sleep. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.